Hello everyone, welcome to Ancient Life Hacks. I am Jared Madsen. I have a master's degree in Chinese medicine. I lived in China for many years. I'm fluent in Chinese, but I'm also interested in cultures around the world, especially ancient cultures and cultures that have things that we can apply to our lives today. And today we will be talking about some interesting things in Chinese medicine and what we want to eat and why. Now, before we get into that, I ask you to please subscribe, go ahead and like while you're down there, and also to visit our website, ancientlifehacks.com, and sign up for our newsletter. Our newsletter will include the notes from this and from all of the podcasts that I'm doing. So a lot of these notes are long and they can't quite fit into the description. I only put a little bit in the description, but if you want the whole thing, please go ahead and sign up for the newsletter. And also too, please feel free to recommend this channel to your friends and family. I don't know how the algorithm works. I don't know if it's promoting us or not, but grassroots is always highly effective. So if you enjoy this channel, please by all means share this with others. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about what is called Doctrine of Signatures. It is a concept in ancient China, and you can find this in many ancient cultures. The idea is what you eat, if it looks like something of your body, it will help nourish that aspect of your body. Does that make sense? We'll dive in. It will make sense after this. So basically, I wrote this thing up. I'm going to read it real quick so that we can kind of get the idea out there. This concept suggests that the external characteristics, appearance, and qualities of plant foods or substances can provide clues about their medicinal properties and the specific parts of the body they can benefit. In Chinese medicine, this concept is deeply intertwined with the broader principles of balance and harmony within the body and with nature. Yes, big important things of Chinese medicine. So Chinese medicine is rooted in the idea that the human body is a microcosm of the natural world. This goes beyond a theory. They think of it as an actual microcosm. And there is a deep connection between the macrocosm, or nature, and the microcosm, the body. Ancient Taoist texts will talk about the body being a universe, being a world. It's kind of all falls into the same thing, right? Same idea. And it's not just, they take it more seriously. It's not just like a world, it is a world. It's an actual universe. Your body is an actual world. This belief forms the basis of the Doctrine of Signatures. It suggests that nature provides clues through the shapes, colors, textures, and growth patterns of plants and foods, indicating how they can be used to restore balance in the body. Okay, that's the topic of today. We are going to dive in and we're going to look at some actual foods, what they benefit, what they look like in the body, what they benefit. I have a long list. We'll see how many we get through. But again, sign up for that newsletter and you can get the whole thing. Okay, before we get started with the examples, in traditional Chinese medicine, health is seen as a state of balance, and illness arises when this balance is disrupted. Food and herbs that resemble specific body parts or organs are believed to have an affinity for those areas and can help restore balance and promote healing. For example, a food resembling the liver might be used to support liver health. Now, before we get into some of these foods, we'll start from a very easy concept, which would be actually eating, for example, that part of an animal to help nourish that part of your body. So for instance, it's not hard to understand. If you eat meat, it has many of the nutrients and the energies and everything that your muscles need. So if you want to strengthen your muscles, you would eat meat. If you want to strengthen your bones, make some bone broth soup. If you want to strengthen your liver, have some nice, natural, organic, never had any toxins liver from a pig, something like that. And in China, they'll take it a step further. So you want to Help your eyes, eat some fish eyes. Eat some fish brain, help your brain. You might think it's gross or whatever, but the idea, the concept is there. All the energies and whatever your eye needs, it's kind of the exact same thing in a fish. So why not eat fish eyes? I can't think of a single reason why you wouldn't eat fish eyes. Today, we're just gonna go through some examples. We're gonna talk a little bit about them. And if you like this topic, leave some comments below. I can go much deeper into this topic. Okay, so the first one, and this one is really fun. I've talked about this before. Ginseng. The ginseng root, when we say ginseng, we're talking about the root of the ginseng plant, looks kind of like a little person. And so the story is, back in ancient times, if you went out and searched for ginseng and you saw it in the mountains, you would take a red string and you would tie it to the ginseng, and then you would tie it to a tree or tie it to a rock or something like that, because they believed that the ginseng would actually get up out of the ground, walk away, and then put itself in the ground somewhere else. They thought it was a little bit more than just a plant. It was a very keen, smart, able to walk around plant. And these are things that people actually did because they thought it actually got up and moved. For our use, the whole idea is that it's a plant, but it looks like a body. Ginseng, according to Chinese medicine, this is a very unique characteristic and one of the only things that is able to nourish what is called yuan qi, or original qi, or original energy, or it's this deep energy in the body. And the fact that it looks like a little person is not coincidental. In general, ginseng strengthens the entire body, especially the spleens and the lungs. Side note, don't have ginseng by itself, as so many people like to do that. I'm gonna have some ginseng, I'm gonna put ginseng in something. It needs to be balanced. Your best bet is to balance it in a Chinese medicine formula. So really your best bet is to go to a practitioner of Chinese medicine. If you feel that ginseng is something you need, have them write you a formula so some of these strong properties of ginseng can be balanced out. If you just eat ginseng straight, heat will rise, you get a very red face. We want it balanced. Chinese medicine is all about balance. Walnuts. Hey, a walnut looks like a human head, and then you crack it open and inside it looks kind of like a brain. They have found walnuts are rich in omega-3 fatty acids and antioxidants, which are believed to support brain health. That's the other thing. We start to see in this ancient wisdom, there is starting to be proof of some of what I'm going to be saying here. You can do some of the research yourself. I did a little bit of research. Again, sign up for the newsletter and you can have all this information. If you want to have your brain work better, maybe you should eat more walnuts. Plus, they're delicious. Here's a good one. Celery. It's supposed to resemble bones. It's very straight, it's very hard, it's very crisp. Celery is considered a cooling food. Yes, that's true. Helps reduce inflammation. It is used to strengthen bones and alleviate joint pain. Celery, who would have thunk? The next one, Longan, which you might call Longan or something like that. It's a fruit from Southeast Asia. It is delicious. There are many properties to it, but the one that we're talking about today is that it nourishes the heart. Why? Because it looks like a little heart. Actually, a big thing that Longan is used for is to help one sleep. And oftentimes people have trouble sleeping because their heart is not balanced. We talked about this in a previous episode. I can talk more about anything in detail. I can talk for forever. Leave comments below. Ask me what you want me to talk about. But the heart is the palace that holds the soul, your real soul. When it goes to bed in the heart. So you want your heart to be nice and strong. Longan, which looks like a heart, it also helps tonify the heart and the blood of the heart. Next, this is a fun one. Carrots. Okay, you gotta think a little outside the box here with this. If you cut a carrot and you look at it, it looks like an eye. It has the pupil and then it's got all the good stuff around it. So carrots are considered to be good for the eye. Well, what do carrots have? They have vitamin A. So good old Western science also agrees that carrots are good for the eyes. Chinese medicine would say, we don't really know anything about vitamin A, but what we do know is that it looks like an eye. And so you would want to use that to nourish your eyes. It's also very good for the liver. For the ladies, figs. Figs resemble the female reproductive organs, and therefore figs in particular are good for women and women's health. Figs. I'm sure they're good for men as well, right? But specifically, according to ancient Chinese wisdom, good for women. Shitake mushrooms. They look like an ear. Okay? The mushrooms are good for the ear. Astragalus root. You may or may not know what that is. That's a big tonic used in Chinese medicine. It's good for the spleen and the lungs because it kind of looks like that. Next one, Ginko. It looks like the brain as well. So we've kind of got to have another walnut thing going on here. Ginko as well. Good for the brain. Good for memory in particular. That's the idea. Next, lychee. We call it lychee. Lychee, like Longan, looks like, both these fruits look very similar. They're both from Southeast Asia. They look like a little heart. So it is also good for your heart, and it's also good for sleeping. Fennel seeds, they look like the mammary glands. So that is good for breast health. Who would have thought? Now, Western herbology knows this, that it is good for promoting lactation. Chinese yam, in Chinese this is called shanyao. It is white yam. You can find this in Chinese grocery stores. I've never seen this in a Western grocery store. Western grocery stores have regular yams, and they have various types of yams, which are all very good. They look a little bit like a stomach or a spleen, and so they're very good for your digestion. Now, in Chinese medicine too, I've talked about these before. These root, whatever they're called, tubercles or whatever, yams, these are very good for nourishing the spleen because they are a little bit sweet, and the color is the kind of color that we want. We want the yellows and the browns, a little bit of white, but mostly the yellows and the browns. Those colors are good for nourishing the earth element and keeping everything balanced. Here's an interesting one. The lychee nut is good for male reproductive health because it looks like that. And traditionally, they have been, lychee nuts have been used for their aphrodisiac properties. Oh, goodness. Okay. So, not just the lychee fruit, but the nuts, the seeds are also very good as well. Daikon radish is good for the lungs. Okay, it looks kind of like, a little bit like the lungs. And it's especially good for clearing phlegm from the lungs and supporting lung health. Daikon radish, good thing. Kidney beans. I think I gave it away. They look like kidneys. They're good for kidneys. What more needs to be said? Black sesame seeds. I guess they don't really look like the hair, but they're very good for the hair. They're good for the hair. They're good for helping return color to the hair. They have a lot of the energies that are needed for your shiny locks. Here's a fun one. You probably don't know what this is. In Chinese, it's called dongchong xiacao. So what it is, it's both animal and plant. So I believe how it works is there is some caterpillar that goes and ingests this seed, and then that seed grows in the caterpillar's belly, kills the caterpillar because the plant just grows and sprouts right through it. And then we take that and we eat it. And it's good for the lungs and the kidneys. This is something, if you go to Chinatown, you can go into some of the herbal pharmacies there and they will have them. They're rather expensive. It is a fun thing. It is used in Chinese medicine a little bit. Great for the kidneys. Dragon fruit, because it looks like dragon scales, the skin of a dragon, and nourish that dragon skin in you. Yeah, dragon fruit is good for the skin. It also has some cooling properties that are nice for the skin, help cool things off. We talked about shiitake mushrooms. Now there's another kind of mushroom that looks even more like an ear. And in Chinese, it's called mu'er, which means wood ear. Again, good for the ear. So we're starting to see there are multiple mushrooms that are good for the ear. Mu'er in particular is good at clearing heat and phlegm. So if you run a little on the hot side, there you go. Scallions look like human hair. It's good for hair health and circulation. Grapes, okay, grapes are supposed to look like the lungs, not the whole lung, but the little sachets, whatever those are called, that are in the lungs. Support lung health and clear phlegm, but too many grapes can cause phlegm. So don't eat too many. Reishi mushrooms, Lingzhi, they can be kind of reddish brown mushrooms. Rather expensive, they help the liver. They do kind of look like a liver as well. These are very good mushrooms. Gooseberries. Gooseberries help the eyes, like the carrots, but in this case, the gooseberry itself just looks like a little eye. Peaches look like a heart. Yes, they do look like a heart. They do look like a heart, and they're good for the heart. Pine nuts. Again, we're on another seed, another nut that looks a little bit like the brain. Now, the walnut is the one that definitely looks like a brain. Pecans you can put in that category as well, but so do pine nuts. All of these are good for the brain. Mulberries, dark mulberries, they are like blood vessels. It is like blood. It is very good to help strengthen the blood. Sweet potatoes, yams, we just talked about that when we talked about the Chinese yams. Looks like the pancreas, right? Good for helping digestion. Lotus seeds, it looks like the brain's ventricles. Okay, so it's good for the brain, good for brain health. Cinnamon looks like pancreatic lobes, good for the pancreas. Cinnamon is good for many things, but in this case, helps strengthen the pancreas. Radishes, we kind of went over that with the daikons. The radishes are good for the gallbladder. The gallbladder and the liver are closely connected. Radishes in particular. Actually, yeah, radishes, the little ones that are not the big daikons, but like the little red ones. It looks like a little gallbladder, doesn't it? Okra, the intestines. Yeah, they kind of are when you first think about it, it's like, that doesn't make sense. But yes, they're a little bit on the hollow. They're hollow on the inside with the seeds, and they kind of look like intestines. They're good for helping digestion and strengthening the intestines. Garlic looks like blood vessels, cardiovascular health, and blood circulation. Garlic has many properties. We could do a whole thing on garlic. Garlic's amazing. Ginger is good for the joints because it looks like elbows and things like that. And then last but not least is going to be red ginseng. So we talked about ginseng at the beginning. We are talking now about red ginseng, which is also the human body, but because it's red, it specifically helps with the heart even more. So it's good for the whole body. It's also good for the heart. Okay, this is just kind of a brief overview of some of these. If this is a topic you are interested in, please leave those in the comments below and we can do more detailed videos. We can do various sections. We can dive into things like the colors, all different other things that you're looking for. What we went over today were just things that look like parts of the human body and how that helps you out there. Again, please check out my website, ancientlifehacks.com. If you are watching this video sometime between late December and mid-May, I welcome you to go down into the description and click on the link to Shenyun Performing Arts. I am the MC for Shenyun Performing Arts. I am on tour during that time. That link will waive the booking fee if you want to come see us at a live performance. We're the world's premier classical Chinese dance company, but we tour all over the world. I would love to see you at a show. If it is not during that time when you see this video, you can also check out Shenyun Zuopin or Shenyun Creations. I will leave a link in the description below as well. All right, see you guys next week.